Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Deep Focus Show. I'm Aiden,
I'm Clay.
I'm Bobby.
and we're continuing the Spielberg Marathon series, going through all of his films. And in our last episode, we entered the 1990s with Hook. Not the best start, but we persevere. We persevere into a film that is much more kind of acclaimed and considered, one of Spielberg's big classics, Jurassic Park. And yeah, what did you guys think of this movie, I guess? Or just first of all, what did you guys had you guys seen it before? Like what was your kind of experience with the movie?
I've seen it before. Long time ago, whenever I was probably 13. So I mean, obviously it's classic for a reason. Um, and it was nice to watch this finally again because I think the Jurassic Park that I've seen the most is the third one, which kind of
Why?
funny because I don't know because I think I owned that DVD whenever I was younger.
Fair enough.
Um, I haven't seen any of the new Jurassic Parks except the one released in 2016, I think, the first
Jurassic World.
installment of Jurassic World.
Yeah.
So it was nice to revisit this classic. Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Todd?
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it like a few times over the years. It's never been like a movie I've watched over and over, like some like Raiders or something. But um, yeah, it's been few years, maybe more, that I've seen this, and it was fun to go back to this one after a long time. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for me, this was probably the first Spielberg movie I'd seen besides the Indiana Jones films. I think I watched the trilogy first, and this was probably the fourth Spielberg movie I ever saw, which is I probably would have been like eight or nine maybe. Um, so yeah, big movie growing up, watched it a lot of times, but it had been a few years, so it was great to revisit it. And I guess I can kind of segue into my review. I think this is just a perfect example of blockbuster filmmaking. I think it's probably, one of my very favorite films of the 1990s. It's a great, it works in terms of the themes and kind of on that critical level. And it also is extremely exciting, entertaining. The effects deliver so much. The characters are all very memorable, which I think is something that the sequels to varying degrees kind of misstepped on. It's like everyone knows the characters in this movie. No one could tell you the characters in Jurassic World 2, you know? That's very important, I think, is to have a movie where, you remember all of the personalities. And that's something I think Spielberg has done amazingly with maybe not necessarily his more like artsy films so far that we've done, but at least all of his blockbusters like Jaws and the Indiana Jones films, is that you emerge from this adventure having gone through it with all of the characters, and you remember all of them, and there's so many iconic lines, the water on the hand, all these famous moments, the you know you the so many of the action set pieces with the dinosaurs, and just more than anything, it just feels like a truly classic film. It's kind of an iconic film that I believe it was the first film, obviously adjusted for inflation, there are many more, but I think it was the first film not adjusted for inflation to break the $1 billion grossing barrier when it came out. So, a huge film for popular culture. And yeah, just a very, and just effortlessly entertaining. I think it's just, one of the best blockbusters ever made. I try to, sometimes I judge films, based on the themes, and I think the themes are amazing here. And sometimes I judge films based on the entertainment value, which is also top notch here. So ultimately, you have a film that, no matter what parameters you set for how you regard it, I at least think it satisfies those with flying colors. So I'm going to go with a 5-star rating. I think it's just one of the most perfect blockbusters from Spielberg.
Awesome. Yeah, I expected that. I'm gonna go into the story a little bit with my review. Obviously, this movie is very great. It has the wonderful Laura Dern, who I love. She plays paleobotanist Ellie Sattler, and Sam Neill plays paleontologist Alan Grant. Um, it opens pretty good, kind of suspenseful, and then it goes into these anthropologists just like digging up a dinosaur. I love the scene where Sam Neill's kind of explaining the danger of a velociraptor, kind of foreshadows what's to come in the movie. And then evidently they get, or eventually they get invited by industrialist John Hammond, played by Richard Attenborough, to Jurassic Park. And Ian Malcolm, played by Jeff Goldblum, is also invited. Side note, I love his character. He's really cool with his leather jackets and glasses. He's also kind of a smartass. But this park is full of dinosaurs, and the scene where they arrive to the park is backed by John Williams' iconic score. You've heard it definitely. It's also prominent whenever our two leads meet a dinosaur for the first time. It's just such a majestic sounding score for this film. Filming for the park was started on August 24th, 1992, on the Hawaiian island of Kauai. I don't know how you pronounce it. But other places considered were the Dominican Republic and Costa Rica. But Spielberg was familiar with Hawaii, having filmed Raiders of the Lost Ark there. And the film location looks gorgeous. Hawaii is such a great location for this movie. It's discovered that these dinosaurs came from the act of cloning, and there's even a corny presentation with some interesting animation detailing this. And it's discovered that all the dinosaurs on the island are female. And understandably, the anthropologists are kind of hesitant about this park. They tour the park with some children, Tim Murphy, played by Joseph Mazzello, and Lex Murphy, played by Ariana Richards. They're Hammond's grandchildren. And the park looks so good. I love the wooden gates whenever it opens into the park. It has some bombastic colors on the sign too, and the buses. And there's a line from Ian Malcolm where he says, God creates dinosaurs, God destroys dinosaurs, God creates man, man destroys God, and man creates dinosaurs. And Laura Dern is like, dinosaurs eats man, women inherit the earth, like slay bitch, I love you so much. But really, that's spot on with the theme of this film. Playing God has never really worked well for anyone, and doing with that the most dangerous predators to ever walk the earth, you're just asking for trouble. It's a film that silently believes that everything happens for a purpose, and it's foolish to mess with that purpose. Anyways, all throughout the journey of the park, there's people running things behind the scenes. There's a storm which puts a damper on things, to say the least, and there's an iconic scene where Murphy is looking at a cup of water, and then bam, a dinosaur shows up and things get pretty wild. The lawyer ends up being a coward, and eventually he gets killed. And the cinematography is really good on the rain scenes. Also, one of the scientists, Nedry, gets killed by a small dinosaur, and it's so creepy. It's a great jump scare on that scene. And there's a beautiful scene where the kids are hiding in a tree, and you can hear the glimmer of the main theme by John Williams. Also, it turns out these dinosaurs are breeding. So eventually, the film culminates with an awesome sequence in a kitchen and control room. That's where the movie gets pretty tense. But overall, this movie has awesome CGI and animatronics. It's filled with suspense. It's a compelling story all around, and all the actors are great, even the child ones. This movie borrows a lot from Jaws, but it's just Jaws on land, basically. And I'm not sure if I prefer Jaws to this one or not, but I'm giving it the same score of 4.5. I guess if I had to point out a flaw for this movie, it kind of establishes the park as an amusement one a little too short, and whenever things start to go awry, I feel like it's a little bit abrupt. But this movie won 3 Academy Awards, for which it was nominated: Best Sound Editing, Best Sound Mixing, and Best Visual Effects, which is well deserved in my opinion. I'd imagine that the budget for this movie was pretty high, but I'm sure they made all the money in return, so it came out very well. I can't decide if I like the second Jurassic Park more than this, but definitely don't care for the third Jurassic Park, even if I've seen that more.
Wait, wait, you're saying you think the second one might be better than this?
Potentially, potentially.
Okay, okay.
It doesn't have Laura Dern though,
I'm
so
just gonna leave that there. The commenters can judge your opinion on that one.
we'll see though.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't personally seen the second one, so I don't know. But I don't think it. Well, it's got mixed reviews, and they likes that sort of things, mixed reviews things. So maybe it's that. Yeah. I have to say, pretty much from a from my little understanding of blockbusters and cinema after all, feel like this is a pretty much a perfect movie. Just it handles so many things wonderfully, and the the theme is one of uh, the scene that Clay mentioned, it like the helicopter scene where the theme goes full blast. I love it that they didn't use it before that, like in the credits, like they had some other music there, and it just brings out this magical world of Jurassic Park. It's kind of put it as sort of this wonderful place at first, before obviously it's gonna go wrong. But and like well, the team, yeah, it's awesome. John Williams, maybe one of his best work so far. But he has a lot of awesome ones, so it's kind of tough. Um, I was surprised how well the humor. It's a lot of funny things happening. A lot of funny quotes, and Jeff Goldblum is pretty hilarious. Uh, until he gets like something happens to him, he like gets thrown to a building or something. I don't remember, but exactly. But then they kind of put him like as just sort of man in pain mode. Doesn't really do much after all. That's kind of bummer. But I also I love the scene where there's like that Jeff Goldblum comes in and he's just like, that is fun, big pile of shit. It's so funny. It's like what we viewers are thinking in that moment. And maybe he's kind of that character that does that sort of thing. And yeah, yeah, CGI and all of those are very well handled. Um, and I like that they kind of there's got a lot of like effects and all, but they kind of try to hide it so it doesn't look so obvious, and they do it very well, like with the use of shadows, I would assume, and how they place the camera and sort of things, and yeah, the CGI, even some like movies like 10 years after this looks worse than this. And like what else? Like characters, I pretty much like all of the adult characters, at least. Sam Neill is one of my favorites here, and I love the sort of evolution of his character when it first is like almost like anti-children, sort of. It doesn't care to spend time with them, but then he sort of almost has to in the movie, and then obviously his uh, actions change, and yeah, one of early, well, sort of early Samuel Jackson performances pre Pulp Fiction, and I like him too, smoking his cigarette and all, and I loved Newman is in this movie, and I think he kind of makes me laugh, and how he just all the physical comedy he does, and like it's so funny, and I was surprised I didn't remember this, that how sort of this is almost like a horror movie almost, like it all goes berserk, and there's even some gore a little, and it kind of surprised me. I didn't remember that well, that aspect, but I think those are handled very well. Um, yeah, I think most of the points have been said already. Like visual, this is a pretty much a milestone in visual effects and maybe some modern visual effects, and also why not uh sound effects too. Um, I'm kind of, is it the because I'm gonna say this is a perfect movie, but I still don't have it as five because it's because I'm a dick, I guess. But I just I just not sure is it the same perfect level to me as Raiders for me. And it's I personally like never had a dinosaur thing for me, even if it's kind of cool, but it's not it's perfect in a way. I see it, but I don't think it's maybe it should be a five. I don't know. I'm just kind of I don't even know myself. But it's definitely worth to watch if you haven't, and like yeah, I don't know.
Do you like Jaws more?
I think I like this more
Hmm.
personally. Yeah.
That's a hard
And
call for me. I'm not sure. What about
yeah,
you? Yeah.
play.
Yeah,
What?
what about you?
I guess I like Jurassic Park a little bit more than Jaws. Um, but I think Jaws has a lot more memorable scenes than this movie.
Interesting.
Person,
Yeah, I think it's very close for me. Like, I give both
Sure.
movies 5 stars, so
Jaws is more quotable, like we're gonna need a bigger boat.
yeah, true.
Yeah, probably. And I do love the fact that basically E.T. was the previous biggest movie in the box office, and then
This
then
took its place.
Spielberg
Yeah.
broke his own record with this one. And then, well, then James Cameron came through and everything.
Yeah,
Well, not really, but
Schindler's List is next. I haven't seen that
indeed.
one.
Yeah, for me, it's been so
yeah,
long that
I've
I
I've
really
seen it.
don't remember. I saw it like a long time ago, so um,
Mm.
not enough to even like really give it a rating. So I think I'm looking forward to seeing it again and crystallizing my thoughts.
Yeah, same. It won't be the easiest watch, I'm gonna be sure,
Yeah,
but yeah, it will be a cool one still.
for
Our
sure.
next reviews that we're gonna do is we're ranking Damien Chazelle, and we're gonna be reviewing the movie Rio Bravo
Yep,
next weekend. So
which is part of
gonna be
our a series of 50s movies that are the most praised ones on like Letterboxd, IMDb scores going through like the top 20. So, and Rio Bravo is the first installment. And then Chazelle will be a very exciting video, so stay tuned for that. And yep, thank you guys so much for watching, and leave a comment, like, whatever. Peace.